I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Testamina Learning Links, your links to learning. I'm Mrs. Hanson and I'm one of the CCLC tutors with the Kasilof Boys and Girls Club. So today we're going to be learning about 2x2 digit multiplication. If you're following along at home, grab a paper, a pencil, or a whiteboard to follow along because we're going to be learning by doing, not just by watching. Okay, so let's get started. So first, I want to activate some of our background knowledge on this subject. If you've been following along with our videos, you know that we have covered 2x1 and 3x1 digit multiplication. So let me show you an example. So we've done 2x1 digit multiplication, and then we've also done 3x1 digit multiplication. So both of these concepts should look familiar to you. Today we're going to take it one step further, and we're going to add a digit in the tens place down here, and we're going to be doing 2x2 digit multiplication. Okay, so let's set up our first problem and get started. Okay, so our first problem is going to be 23 times 45. Write that down on your paper while I write it up here. Okay, so 23 times 45. So the very first steps are going to be the same as 2x1 digit multiplication. They're going to be exactly the same. The extra digit and the steps that come with it come in the problem a little bit later. So we're going to do the same exact procedure to start off with. 5 times 3, we're going to go up and multiply. 5 times 3 is 15. Put the digit in the ones place right here in the ones column. Carry the digit that's in the tens place to the tens column. Okay, so now we're going to go over, we're going to multiply, and we're going to add that little guy on top. So we're going to multiply. 5 times 2 is 10, plus the 1 is going to be 11, and I'll write that here. So if this 4 wasn't here, we would be all done, and we would have had this problem solved. But the 4 is here, so we have a couple extra steps to add. So first, I want to cross off this number right here, just because we're all done with using it. We're not going to use that number anymore, and we might have to add some extra numbers up there, so I don't want to make it confusing by having unnecessary numbers. You can erase it. However, some teachers might not want you to do that because they want to see your past work, but it's fine if you cross it out. Okay, next, we're going to add a 0 right here. So like I said, we have a different procedure this time. So before we went up and over, now to account for this digit, we are going over and then up. So the same exact procedure, just backwards. So over and then up. And we're taking care of that tens place, and we add a 0 here to account for that extra place value. If you even had like a hundreds place, you would add 2 zeros here, and so on and so forth with further or bigger place values. Okay, so we have our next steps covered. Now let's do the final part. So we're going to go over and then up, like I said. So over 4 times 3 is going to be 12. So I'm going to put my 2 down here, carry my 1, and then I'm going to go up. 4 times 2 is 8, and then add that 1 on top, which would be 9. So we'd go up and then add. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Put that right here. Okay, now we've taken care of all of our multiplication. The last thing that we're going to do is add. So we're going to add these two numbers up, and then we'll have our final product, the answer to a multiplication problem. So 5 plus 0 is 5. 1 plus 2 is 3. And then 1 plus 9 is 10. And don't forget your comma. We're going to count 1, 2, 3 over and put in our comma. Okay, so there you have it, folks. That is how you do 2x2 digit multiplication. And we're going to do one more problem together. But before we do, I want to do our easy peasy math fact. So, there have been lots of moose outside lately. I have been seeing lots of moose. Let's say that Mrs. Hanson drove to school, and on the way to school, she saw 2 moose on the side of the road. At school, she didn't see any, but then when she went back home, she saw 3 moose in her front yard, a mama with 2 babies. How many moose did Mrs. Hanson see in that day? Okay, there's our easy peasy math fact. So let's move on to our next problem. It's going to be 87 times 26. So write that out while I write it up here. Okay, so now that same procedure, we're going to go up and then over and then over and then up. I know it's kind of weird. It takes a lot of practice, but that's okay. That's why we're making these videos. Okay, so up, we're going to do 6 times 7. 6 times 7 is 42. I'll put my 2 here. And then carry my 4. Okay, now I'm going over. I'm going to multiply these two factors and then add this. So 6 times 8 is 48, plus 4 is going to be 52. Put that down here. Cross out my 4 because I'm all done with it. And then add a 0 right here. Okay, now I'm ready to move on to the second place. So we're going to do 2 times 7 is going to be 14. I'll put my 4 here, carry my 1. Then I have 2 times 8 plus 1. So 2 times 8 is going to be 16, plus 1 is 17. Okay, now I just have to add these two up. So 2 plus 0 is 2. 2 plus 4 is 6. 5 plus 7 is 12. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. And then put my comma in. 1, 2, 3, over. And there is my answer, 2,262. Okay, there you have it, guys. 2 by 2 digit multiplication. Look out for our next video. It's going to be 3 by 2 multiplication. And I want to just say thank you for learning with us here at Testing Me to Learn Links. We appreciate you stopping by. Okay, bye, guys.
I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my